Okay. All right.
You weren't the only one who registered.
Okay.
We'll give people
All right.
a couple more minutes. And also, let me take the moment to let you know I have not forgotten about your email.
Okay.
Just everything took a turn when Shopify released some updates that I'm like, oh, I have to cover some of these things.
Yeah, no, that's fine. That's fine. I was actually just on a chat with them with something and it took me an hour. So
Oh, wow.
it's crazy. Yeah, something with my domain when um I upgraded to that checkout, the
Yes.
new checkout, and then I was supposed to, I think, connect the C name and I didn't, and then all of a sudden I got kicked out like 2 days later. So I had an order yesterday, but I don't know, you could get on my website, but I guess with the checkout it needed to be upgraded in the
Okay.
with Namecheap because I don't have I use Namecheap as my host, I guess what host provider. No, that's where I got my website name. So that
Okay. Okay.
yeah,
That's your domain, you mean? Okay.
my domain, thank you. So I have it through them, not Shopify. So I had to
Okay.
change everything. So yeah, so now I'm cooking dinner as we speak.
Okay.
It's been
You're
a crazy day.
multitask.
Yeah. So
Awesome. I am going to just post this.
okay.
That here. Okay. Put on my do not disturb.
So
All right. I'm gonna give it a couple more minutes. I should have probably picked some music to play. I didn't think about it. But honestly, sometimes when you play music and you try to post it like on YouTube, for example, you get the whole copyright issues.
yeah.
It's-
I'm gonna mute you as I'm playing around with my dinner here.
All right. People are strolling in. Hey, Ryan.
Hey, hey, good to see you.
How are you?
I'm blessed. Can't complain. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful. Thank you. We're just giving a couple minutes for people to stroll in and then we'll get
Okay,
started.
perfect.
Yeah, we'll get started shortly. Set my screen up. Chat. Hey, Felicia. How
Hello.
are you? How
I'm
are you? Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Are you still celebrating?
Yes.
Awesome. Hey, it's the 50 and Fab.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Celebrate for the rest of the year.
There you go. There you go.
Mm.
All right. So I'm gonna go ahead and get started. People can trickle in. I opened the weight room, so we don't have to worry about that. All right. So I'm really excited about today because I first and foremost, most of you know I can talk Shopify like with through my elbows. And design is something that I think we all can use some guidance with. But also, Shopify yesterday literally launched 150 updates. Hey Renee, and these updates, you guys, honestly, these updates literally took my entire plan and flipped it because there's no way I could go through this entire webinar without going over some of these updates that they had because they've integrated AI into the theme editor even more. And so, and some of these updates are just so cool. So I have to make some time for us to go through these updates that Shopify just did as well. So before we go ahead and get started, let me just talk a little bit, un poquito about me, a little bit about myself. My name is Vero, and I am the founder of Pixelnamics. I'm originally from Puerto Rico, and I moved to California when I was 10. So I've been out here most of my life, but I go back literally every year, at least once. And I'm also a proud mom of a 21-year-old college student who's the reason I do everything, although she does not let me post her picture ever, which is why her face is covered on the slide. Um, so let me give you a little background on how I got started. Um, I my first website building experience was back in 2008. And back then, oops, hold on, I just made something big. Back then, I was just doing it for myself to promote the nightlife parties. I used to throw club event parties and I would promote them on the magazine, or I would host other parties and I would promote the parties on the magazine, on the online website. And honestly, this was a true taste of digital strategy and digital marketing before I even realized what I was doing. Um, Fast forward to 2016, and that's when I started working with Shopify. I started as a merchant, like many of you, and I launched a jewelry drop shipping brand called Hella Fashion, Super Bay Area. Um, and I had this tagline, and this tagline was fashion for everyone. And honestly, yo, I sold to barely anyone. I really had a lot to learn, but I didn't give up. I took courses, I joined programs, I sat through webinars, and eventually I then launched my skincare line called Crema. And that brand made me a little bit over 11,000 back in 2020, which felt like such a huge win for a side hustle. And I then started also helping my friends. Hey, Auntie Shaky. I also then started helping my friends build their Shopify store, and I did a couple of Fiverr gigs. And at one point, honestly, you guys, I was doing all three things at once. And in 2022, I decided to go all in on building Shopify stores. And that's when Pixelnamics was born. The first year, I made just a little bit over $7,800. Then in 2023, I grew that to over $37,000. And then last year, I scaled just under $75,000, and that's all while still working a full-time job. So I'm saying all this to say, if I can do this, every single one of you can absolutely do this as well. And today I actually give entrepreneurs their time back so that they can actually focus on what they do best and work on their brands. And I've also built a space where creators can actually grow and support one another without overwhelm because you're not meant to build this alone. And I'm here to show you guys a smarter way. So let's talk about something that no one necessarily likes to admit. And that's the fact that just because you have a good looking store, that does not mean that you're making money. And why do you guys think that is? I I say it's because they built the store backwards. They started first with aesthetics and not really with any type of flow or clarity or even with the buyer's journey in mind. And here's what usually happens. The homepage is full of options, but there's no clear direction. The customer doesn't know where to even start. And that's really important. And behind the scenes, the owners are just out there hoping and wishing it works. And that's not strategy. So meanwhile, like I said, it's a store-like strategy. There's no collections guiding the scroll and no story to tell and holding it all together so they can convert. And what happens? It's a beautiful design, but it's weak sales and lots of overwhelmed, right? So that's why we're here today. In this workshop, I'm going to show you how to flip the script, right? We're going to show you how to start from the inside out. So every section of your homepage actually leads with decision and scale. So before we dive in, I do want to, before we dive into the design part, I do want to give you guys a zoomed out vision of my Pixel to Profits framework. And this is the method that I actually use to help entrepreneurs go from scattered to strategic. And this is how we actually build stores, not just to look good, but also to have clarity, to convert with confidence, and to actually run with systems. So it's made up of 5 core stages. And the first stage is the pixel launch stage. And this is where we define your brand soul, your mission, your message, and aesthetic direction. Okay? Then we go to stage 2, and this is product power up. And this is where we clarify your product lineup, we refine your collections, and we make sure that everything feels premium and it's ready to scale. The third stage is conversion core. And this is where the strategy gets a little deeper, because we're going to start in this stage to work on email flows, then we work on homepage layouts, product pages, and everything that turns actual browsers to buyers. Then we move on to stage 4, which is traffic engine. And this is once your store is ready, we want to bring in aligned eyeballs through content or campaigns or partnerships, people who are actually interested in your brand. And then finally, stage 5 is optimization loop. So this means that after you launch your store, we're going to use the customer data and the data that's the analytics from the store to give us feedback so that we can tweak and improve and keep growing over time. Because it's not just one built, one done, and then you just cross your fingers. You have to continuously be on optimization loop after you build, after you launch. All right, so this isn't about guessing, y'all. It's about building every layer of your store in the right order with intention and flow. So where does designing your Shopify homepage actually fit in this framework? And it's literally right here in between product power up and the conversion core. And it's a very, very critical moment in your building the Shopify store. So I'm going to break it down. In the product power up, we're clarifying your offers. And we decide what your signature products are, how they're going to get grouped into collections, right? What's most valuable to highlight. And then before we even write emails or install any kind of pop-ups, we go straight to homepage design inside the conversion core. And we do this because your homepage is where your customers first are going to say, do I belong here? Or can I trust this brand? Where should I click next? So designing your homepage is about connecting what you sell to how people buy. It's not just going to be design, it's actually direction. And what today's webinar is all about is actually helping you confidently build this bridge between your products and your conversion flow. So here is what you'll walk away with from today. Whether this is your first store or your fifth attempt, you're going to walk away with a smarter, simpler way to start your store design. And it's going to be one that begins with your products, not your template. And that's why I call it the inside out. Because when you build from the inside out, everything just clicks into place, and there's going to be less guessing and then less backtracking. We're also going to do a walkthrough of the Shopify theme editor so you can finally stop avoiding it or being scared to fear it. And you can start using it with confidence without having to need to code or no tech stress. Plus, I've also created a homepage planning blueprint that I'll be sharing with you all before shortly, not quite yet. And this is going to help you map out everything that we covered today and apply it right away. And just to make it even more timely, to say the least, we are also going to be highlighting some of the brands, some of Shopify's editions, Summer 2025, which were just released yesterday. And these are some Shopify updates. And there's even a feature that actually helps you design your Shopify store using AI, and it makes it even easier. And it's not what I've showed you all in the past. This is even more more AI-ish, for lack of better words. So yes, you're all in the right place, and I'm super excited to show you how to bring life with strategy and not stress all to your store. So we're going to start with some mindset shifting, because most people who start with a Shopify store, they actually do what the platform tells them to do, which is pick a theme, upload your products, and then hope everything looks okay. And on the surface, it may make sense. Okay, yeah, let me start with the theme and start designing. But underneath, honestly, it creates chaos, because you end up with plugging in things randomly, and you're just trying to force the store to feel cohesive, but the structure is just not there. And that's the old way. We're going to let that go, right? We're not going to cross our fingers and pick a pretty theme and template and hope it all goes well. All right? We're going to shift our mind to the new way of seeing it. Okay? I want to show you the new way, and this way starts from the inside out. Because instead of asking yourself, what theme should I use? We're going to ask ourselves, what am I really selling? What do my customers need to see first? And then how can I guide them step by step through the store? So here's the shift. We start with your products, we shape them into collections, and then we build a homepage that actually works. This is actually the foundation of my Pixel to Profits roadmap, and it's how we go from clutter to clarity and from chaos to conversions. And again, it's not just about making your store look good. It's about making it intentional so people actually buy, because that's what matters. So let me show you exactly what happens when we shift from that old mindset into the new one, okay? We're going to do things from the inside out. And this is actually a real Shopify store. This is one of my current retainer clients. She's actually my most successful case study. And this is a store. It's the same brand, same products, same business owners. But the difference is the strategy behind what we built with the homepage. So on the left, what you see is the old version, which it's not horrible, but there's no direction, no product flow, and the copy doesn't guide decisions. And it's what we call template first thinking. Now on the right, this is the after. And it's the same brand with a completely different energy, right? It was actually built around the products and the collections. And it features purposeful visuals with bold call to actions. And it's got a hierarchy that guides the scroll as well. And most importantly, it converts. So we're going to talk about some results. We started working with Bearcat Body back in June of 2023. And we've been on that stage 5 optimization loop since then. We went through all the stages and we've been optimizing. And we are still in May. And the year to date of this store so far has already surpassed $95,000 in sales. And I checked right before, it was like 95,400 plus today. And we're still in May. So this year, we're really seeing the fruit of the optimization and the working with intention, strategy, and systems. Okay, so just a little bit. Let me just floss a little bit because I heard all my clients' wins are my wins. So this was a 232% increase in conversion rates and over 1,700 orders, all from the same products, just presented the right way. So this is what happens when your homepage isn't just pretty, it's purposeful. All right? So let's get into this. So this is the first step of building your store from the inside out. Before we touch your homepage, we choose and then before we choose a theme, we're going to start with the products. Okay? And I have a quote here. If your store were a real space, where would your customers walk into first? So I want you to think about that. And I'm going to grab a link. Let me share with you all the worksheet. Yes, Auntie Shaky, I know you like the money talk. Yep, she's made over 95,000 selling her products. Incredible, right? So this is the worksheet that I'm sharing with you all. You can make a copy. You can do it while we're doing the webinar, so you can walk through it, or you can wait till afterwards. It's okay. I am also going to be sharing the replay, so you guys don't have to stress out about note taking and missing something. You can just focus on listening, and then I'll be sending you all the replays. So now it's going to be your turn to get clear. And the first step in designing your homepage, again, it's not picking colors, it's not picking your layout. You're going to choose about 3 to 6 core products. And these are going to be your anchors. And these offers or products are going to represent your brand's purpose. So what are your best sellers or the things that you actually want to be known for? And here's how we're going to figure it out. Think to yourself, if I were to be doing a pop-up shop tomorrow and could only bring 3 to 6 products, which ones would be coming with me? Right? So this is what I want you to put in your head from the beginning, right? What do your customers ask about the most? Or what do they keep buying from you? And which ones tell a story best, right? The ones that people say, ooh, I know what you're about. So these 3 to 6 products are going to be your starting point for everything else we built. Okay? They're going to shape our collections, and they're going to inform the homepage layout and guide the copy and visuals that will follow. So we're going to take a moment, if you guys want to take a moment with the worksheet and jot down your 3 to 6 anchors. And know this is everything you're about to create. Like just everything you're about to create, it starts right here with the products. And this is the way that I do my Shopify stores. I never start first with design. I always start with products and then move into collections, which is what we're going to move and talk about next. So once you pick your core products, the next step is going to be to build collections around them. But here's the key, y'all. The collections are not just categories. They're clarity to motion. And your customer is not necessarily thinking, for example, oh, I'm looking for skincare or let me browse candles. They shop by emotion. They shop by solutions. They shop by vibes and they shop by stories. So for example, instead of calling it skincare, you can try glow rituals. Instead of saying shirts, you may want to try soft layers for spring. And instead of saying candles, maybe we could try cozy morning collections. Right? So you want to focus around a vibe. You want to focus around a benefit. You want to focus around something that you can create a story around so that you can think about that when you're doing your layout, the copy for your actual homepage. And these names aren't just cuter, but they're actually conversion cues. They make the shopper feel something. And then they signal the outcome. They signal the lifestyle or the benefit, like I said earlier. So when you create these collections, think beyond the product. Okay? Ask yourself, what's the mood or the moment that I'm selling? Right? Because this clarity is also going to lead to confidence, and confidence converts. All right. So let's talk structure. Because your homepage isn't just a collage of pretty blocks, right? It's a journey, it's a story. And your job is to design that journey with intention. So this is where we lay the foundation, what I call your store skeleton. And I'm going to introduce to you all some frameworks that I put together, and I created these a few years ago actually. And the first one is bring the base to your Shopify store. And the base framework is a simple way to make your homepage or just your entire Shopify store not just flow and it's not fluff. So let's go over what the base stands for. The B is for brand. And this is going to be your products and your collections. This is what you want to think about when we say brand. What are your core products going to be? And what are going to be the theme collections around those products? The A stands for aesthetics. And that's going to be your theme and the actual design. And this is actually where we go into that. I'm going to do a little skipperoo, and this is where we actually go into the designing C's. And the designing C's cover color, and you want to know your colors. You want to know what they evoke. Do they evoke energy or luxury, right? You don't just go based off your favorite color. So for example, if your brand is like a yoga meditation brand, but your favorite color is red, it wouldn't necessarily make sense to use red as your color. So you definitely want to do your research on the colors. Okay, and then we have C, and that's for copies. And I know I'm skipping through, and I'm bobbing and weaving through the designing C's inside aesthetics right now with the A. And your copy is going to be the messaging that's on the website. You want it to be clear, and you want it to be conversion focused. Then we have content. And this is going to be your visuals for your store, your banners, your images. And then finally, the call to action buttons. You want to have the call to actions and make them obvious and have them throughout your website. So now we're going to go back to base, and we're going to touch on this first S in base. And that's your settings and SEO. Settings is not the most sexiest part of your Shopify store, but they are so important. If you don't take care of your settings, your store may not run correctly. Your shipping may be off, right? Your domain may not be connected correctly. So these are things that you don't necessarily look forward to, and you're like, oh, let me go do some settings. And SEO, but they're important. SEO is going to actually help you with your ranking in Google as well. And the last S in the base is your sales channels and apps. And these are going to be, sales channels are actually going to help you expand your brand into broader audiences. And these are like your Meta for Instagram and Facebook, or your Pinterest, or your YouTube and Google. There's tons of sales channels, and the apps, y'all, the apps are what are going to optimize the functionality of your store. So your pop-up apps, your email apps, your upsell apps. And what I'll do is for everyone who register, I'll email you all the link, my when I email you the replay, I'm gonna list all the apps that I like to use. Okay, so I'll send that over my way. All right, so this is when you layer the designing C's on top of the base structure, you don't just build something beautiful, but you're gonna build something that sells. All right, so base, brand aesthetics, settings and SEO, sales channels, and apps. Designing C's, color, copy, content, and call to action. All right. So now that you've mapped out your products and collections, we're going to plug them into the homepage layout in a smart way, right? One that guides and it's not just guessing. So what you're looking at here is what I call a visual grid flow, a top to bottom blueprint that mirrors how your customer naturally scrolls. And this is just a simple example. This is not necessarily like what you saw in the Bearcat body layout. That was more complex because we had multiple collections and multiple products showcasing. But this could be a simple way to start if you don't even know where to start. And think of it as a like a curated path, and every section has its job, right? So the structure here that we're showing you is first you start with your hero banner, and that's actually your image with your call to action and where you have your headline, for example. So it tells your customer they're in the right place, and it shows them exactly where to go next, which is your call to action, and honestly, what it is that you do, what it is that you offer, what it is that you're selling, which is really important. You don't want people to go on your page and not even realize, oh, they sell this or they offer that. It needs to be clear, right? Secondly, we're going to have a feature collection grid, right? Or in Shopify, they call collection list. And this is where your store starts to feel a little more organized, right? Instead of just dumping all the products on top, we're going to show them the curated categories that you created. And these are going to be like the quote unquote the aisles of the store. So they can go to the glow rituals for the body butters, for example, right? And then they can go to like the what did I call the soaps? I have a mock store I'm going to show you all, like the aromatic rituals for the soaps or the glow rituals for the scrubs, for example. So this is going to be showcasing the categories that we put together. Third is going to be your product row, and this is going to be where you can showcase your top products, and you can even add apps such as Judge.me reviews, for example, to add the star ratings from your reviews or testimonials. And this is social proof because it's known that we trust reviews before any brand copy. We first go to the reviews anyway, right? And then you want to make sure that these product rows have a quick add to cart button right then and there. Don't make them have to look for it. Just make it easy. The easier it is to check out, the most likely they will, right? And then you can add a testimonial block, and you can sprinkle your social proof around it. You can have quotes, reviews of what actual real buyers are saying and loving about your brand. And the Judge.me review app actually allows you to do a carousel, and there's different formats of that carousel as well to showcase your reviews on your website as well. If you don't have testimonials just yet, honestly, you could give away some of your product in exchange for them. So let some people know, hey, I'd love some feedback on my product. Would you be willing to give a review in exchange of trying this product? And then that way you can get started on gathering your social proof, because that's important. And then you can either do an opt-in bar. I prefer the pop-up, but the bar is an option as well. And this is to capture your leads, right? And you can either do, for the pop-ups, you can do like spin the wheels or offer a discount. And you want to basically give them a way to stay connected. You're collecting their information, but that's so you can nurture them, right? And this is literally a simple layout for your customers to be able to scroll through your products. And it's not just like a design, right? It's a decision flow. Here are the categories, and here are some products you can buy and add to cart right then and there, right? So it doesn't leave people trying to figure out what you sell and what you do. You're actually guiding them through, okay, do you want to check out my collections, or just here are some products for you to add to your cart? And before I go into my demo, I do want to touch into these essential pages that need to go. And I added this because I see the lack of these all the time, and it's so important that they're here. And that's, of course, your homepage. That's going to be your storefront. This is what we're talking about today, but also your About Us page. People want to connect with people. So they want to know who's behind the brand. Back in my day, people didn't care about who the person behind the brand was. But nowadays, it's a thing. It matters. So you want to make sure you have your About Us page. It also builds trust. You want to have a contact form, a contact page. Shopify has that defaulted already into the themes. You want to make it easy for them to be able to get a hold of you if they have to. Frequently asked questions page, and a policies section. So the frequently asked questions, I would have a page with all the potential questions, objections, or anything that you can answer before they can even say no. All right. And then the policies, what I like to do is on the footer, I like to add them as a second menu on the bottom, because that's intuitively, oh God, my ESL, intuitively, intuitively where people go to look out for the, return policies, shipping policies, refund policies, etc. All right. And then, of course, your navigation, which is your menus. You want to make sure that things are organized also the same way we have them organized on the collections. You want to add that on your menu as well, so that when someone goes to your menu, they can click on shop, and then your categories organized. They know where to go. All right. So, all right. So here we go. It's demo time. And I'm so excited about this, because the updates in Shopify are real. So let me start with the demo. What I did is I have a demo store of my old skincare line. There's a couple of things here that I want you to look into. And first, let's check out this lavender soap with the ugly black background. What is happening here? I don't know. So I clicked on the image. You guys see here on the right side, these are options to edit the photo. So you can change the color background. Let's say example, I'm like, okay, let me just change that to white because the black ain't it. All right, cool. But there's even more. You can replace the background, which is super cool. And this is all AI. And it has suggestions already here when you click on it. And let's say I do, let's say bathroom. But you can also describe your own prompt, your own background. So I can always, let me just add, oh, it has plants. Let's say lots of plants. And let's see. You have to write what the product is on top. So I'm going to say it's a bar, soap bar. And then generate enabled. So let's click on that and just see what AI can do. And it's got 4 slots because it's going to generate 4 options for us. And let's just see what it does. Look at that. So you don't need a fancy photo shoot anymore. You can edit your backgrounds for your product pages right on Shopify. Super cool. All right. So the other thing that I want to do is I want to create the collections. And what I'm going to do, let me delete these. This is from like an old demo. I want to create some collections with some energy, with some flow. So for the body butters, we're going to call that glow and go. I'm not going to do manual. I'm not going to manually do this because that's not scalable. I'm going to click on smart, and then I'm going to click on any condition just in case I want to do multiple smart collections for one product. And I'm going to say, let's say that this is going to be for the butters. So I'm going to call this butter. So, and this has options to do multiple conditions, not just a tag. You can make it a category, a type, weight, all kinds of different conditions. Tag is the easiest, simplest way to do this. So I'm going to say every product with the butter tag is going to be under this collection. So I'm going to click on save. And I'm actually going to add an image here so that we can play around with the design also. And these were actually the butters I used to sell, by the way. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to products. And I'm going to tag those products. So these are, let's see, the body balm. Here we go. I'm going to I clicked on the items on the products. I clicked on the 3 dots. I'm going to add tags, and I'm going to add butter. So when I go back to my collections, it takes time, but it'll get there. And while we're here, let's go ahead and tag the soap. And then I added some images to say they're scrubs, just so we can have a third collection. And I'm choosing them, and I'm going to add scrub to that as far as tagging them. So that way, when I go to the collections, they can automatically be added. So I'm going back to collections. And again, you guys, I'm going to give you guys the replay for these. And I'm going to click on this, and we're going to call the soap collections aromatic rituals. We want it to be a smart. I'm going to do any condition just in case I want more than one collection under one product. I'm going to click save. Let's add a photo too. Let's do this black charcoal. And see, it automatically added the products because they're already tagged. So then when you add more products to your store, all you have to do is tag them, and they'll automatically be organized under that collection. That's why you want to do smart tag collections instead of manual. And the last collection we'll make, it's going to be for the scrubs. And we're going to call that the ritual, the glow ritual. It's going to be a smart, any condition. We're going to call it scrub. Let's add just any photo just so we can have a visual. And we're going to hit save. And boom, they're already in there. So this is what I mean by start with your products. Always have your product page, the products chosen, like, okay, I'm going to have these, and then we're going to organize them into collections. Now we can go into the theme. So there's so many cool things that I want to show you because of the update. But I'm going to keep it with what I had originally planned. You can actually use ChatGPT to help you with your banners and Canva. And for example, Now you can actually use AI to help you as well. So let's try it and see what it does. I stayed up late last night playing with the new features, y'all. And let's say I wanted to say create a hero banner focusing on natural skincare products. So now it says it's working on it. And I'm still actually working on Dawn. There are some new themes, but they're not as simple as Dawn. So my recommendation is you start with a theme like Dawn because it's easier to navigate through so that you can get the foundation first. And then you can upgrade it into one of those new ones that they just released yesterday. They're a little bit more complex. So it's telling me that it's going to help me, and it gave me this prompt here. So I'm going to click on that, and now this is new. This is one of the updates. Now it has it on the generate block side. And I'm going to click on the little arrow. And now what it's doing is generating the code for a hero banner that's going to focus on the natural skincare. So let's see what it does. Super exciting. But while it does that, you can also use ChatGPT, for example. So let's say I add, let me see. A picture of one of the products, one of the pictures that I have. And I could say, I need a hero banner for Shopify using this image. And let's see what that does. So I'm going to go back to the demo store, and it's still coding. So let's see. This is literally like fresh off the press. Before yesterday, we couldn't do this. So now I created this section here where I can actually add an image. Let's just choose this. And it has pure natural skincare, organic ingredients, cruelty-free, eco-friendly packaging. And the features are actually editable. You can edit these. You can change colors. You can totally edit this. But it literally coded this from the prompt that I gave it to create a banner for natural skincare. So that's really cool. Now you don't have to do all that. It might be like, wait, hold on, Vero. I'm still learning how to do this. You went a little too far and too fast. And that's okay. We don't have to use this section. I'm just going to hide it. I'm not going to get rid of it. We're going to go old school banner here. And we're going to see what ChatGPT did. It didn't do the image. Let's try this again. ChatGPT, don't be acting up in front of folks. So I'm telling it to basically create the hero banner for my Shopify homepage using this image. I clicked on create image. So let's see if this time it doesn't, yeah, there we go. It's creating it. So what it did before is it just gave me the layout for it. So let's see what it does. I love AI. Now it's working. So once this is done, it's probably not going to be the size that we need it to be. So what I do is I'll normally go on Canva. Because there's so much. This is AI on AI, y'all. And this is literally the kind of stuff that I do to build Shopify stores. I normally do the banners 1440 by 600. So let's see what it's still creating. Okay, now it's working. So this is the image up here that I added. So you guys can take a look at it. And this is an image one of my best friends did for me. fall in love with your skin. All right, well, this is cool. I'm probably not going to need all those buttons and all that because that's what we're going to add in Shopify, but let me download it. And now I'm going to add it into Canva. The cool thing about Canva, y'all, is it has its own AI features. So I'm going to move this to the right and I'm going to click on edit. And what I'm going to do first is called Magic Expand. So what this is doing is now I'm going to pick, okay, what do I want to expand it to? Do I want free form, whole page, or one-to-one? I'm going to do whole page. So now you see this purple line extended. And now Canva's AI is now expanding this image the size of the banner that you need. So these are just tricks that I use to create banners because that's the struggle, I think, with folks is figuring out what to put on the banner. Now it did a whole lot, and that's okay. Because we're gonna clean this up. Now there's a thing called, when you're still on edit, called Magic Erase. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna erase all these extra stuff that it added that we don't need. And I'm actually going to get rid of the writing because we want to add that ourselves on the page. And then I'm going to click erase, and then it'll erase it. Sometimes you have to do this more than once, but you guys get the point. So this is how I come up with banners, and we did that in just a couple minutes, y'all. So I'm going to download that in the meantime. And I'm going to go back to the store. Now, the layout that we said we were going to do was banner, product, collection list, and then products. So you can click on add section here. And collection list is literally what we were talking about as far as showcasing the grid, the collection grid. I personally delete the headings that they have, the defaulted headings. And we're going to, you can customize if you want 4 columns, 5 columns, 2 columns. This time we're going to leave it at 3 because we have 3 columns or 3 collections. This is the other part that gets skipped, and that's your mobile layout. 70% of Americans are shopping online using their smartphone. So you want to make sure you optimize this for them to use it in mobile time, or literally in the palm of their hands. Up here we have a option to look at what it looks like in mobile. And what I want to make sure we do is we always do the option of the carousel. This allows the swipe feature, so when they're on the phone they can swipe. And you could have it so that it's 2 columns showing or 1. Depending on what it is, you'll want to see what works best. So I'm going to bring it back to desktop though, because I want to add in the collections real quick. We're going to start with this. Actually, no, we're going to start with the butters. Then we're going to do the soaps and then the scrub. So now we have the layout where it's going to be the banner, the collections, and then we're going to move on to adding products. Now you may want to just showcase bestsellers or something. You don't necessarily have to do all the products, but when you do a feature collection, you can showcase multiple products. I always delete that default. And then let's see, we had more soaps, so let's do that. So now it brought in the soaps, but you notice the images are all different. You want to make sure these are all cohesive, and this is all editable. You can edit it to be, let's see, product card. We can say, let's do portrait. Okay, that kind of cut out some of the images. So let me look at square. Okay, this looks a little better and they all look the same. I always do the show second image when you hover. So that means that when you go over it, it's going to show that second image. And you want to always add the product rating. This quick add is a must. Standard is good enough. So it adds the button. It lets you know these are sold out, or here they can do options right then and there without leaving the home page. Again, mobile layout. Yes, we need that, right? So we want to make sure that looks good on mobile. And then lastly, you would add, let's say you have an app like Judge.me. You can add a section, and here there's a section that's called apps. I don't have the app in my store right now, but if you had Judge.me reviews, you can click on the section that would say carousel. And then you could add that on the home page as well. Now, because of time, I really want to show you all these updates. So this is Shopify. They're calling it Horizon, and literally, like, there's so much to show you all. So they have new themes, like I mentioned earlier, and it makes it easier for you to actually also design. They're easier once you understand what you're doing. So I say start with the dawn and then move on to another theme that's a little more complicated, but it's got more features such as these scrolly texts and things like that. You're able to do customization right on your homepage, specifically to show like the swap colors, the ratings, sidekick, and these are the new themes. There's 10 new themes, and there's about some of them are most of them are free. That's the exciting part. Now, this is what we did when we were doing the coding. You can ask Sidekick to do the section for you. So you can say create a, for example, let's click on it again, start a new conversation, create a 2-column comparison of, let's say, 2 soaps, black charcoal, and coffee. Add benefits and CTA buttons. So now it's working on it. And let's see. It's thinking, and it added more to my prompt. And then I click on create soap comparison, and then it brought it up on this side. And now it's coding. So while it does that, let me keep showing you all what else you could do. You can generate themes. I was playing with this last night and it kept giving me error messages. So I need to figure this out before I even talk more about this, because this is literally released yesterday. And I had to get to bed. So it basically has a better editing features. Super cool. Sidekick can do so much more now. You can add you can ask it for analytics. You can ask it to help you segment. You can ask it to help me with some promotions and strategize. So that's pretty amazing. It's also now it speaks 20 different languages, and it does image generating. So that I was playing with yesterday. I couldn't get it to generate. So once I figure these things out, I'm having another webinar so I can show you all. Also, there's a redesigned the POS system, which is really cool because you can now brand your POS. Let's go back and see if it's done coding. Here we go. Here's the section where I can add the images, and it has the benefits all there. And this is specifically coded. So now I can say, cool, here's black charcoal and then Down here, I can keep scrolling down and I can add coffee. That's an ugly picture. Let's just make it like that one just in case. We're making believe that that's coffee. And you can change the colors of the buttons and everything. So this is pretty cool. And this is all coded by Psychic. And you didn't have to worry about coding it. It did it for you. And then it's saying follow-up instructions. So do you want to tell it to do something else? You can continue doing it then. Your checkout actually now can you can do a flat rate shipping for multiple locations, which is pretty cool. And then there's this Shopify checkout Roblox. So I was looking into that. And it looks like this is helping them have a product experience. And it's a free app that they just launched. I didn't get to check too much into it, but it says it's an immersive gaming and creation platform that offers people millions of ways to try to be together and explore and create and share their unique experiences with their friends. So something to definitely look into. Shop Pay installments now are available in Canada. There's better enhanced fraud prevention, carbon neutral shipping checkouts, and their checkouts are compliant to this code here, PCI DSS V4 compliant checkout. Honestly, Shopify is one of the most, if not the most secure e-commerce platform. So I never have to worry about that. Now this one right here, y'all. A lot of us are out there and we're just out there hustling, and sometimes we're selling in person, and the POS sometimes maybe a little frustrating. You can add Apple Pay to your checkout, but the other part that I thought was really cool was you can also add tap to pay. This is all in global. Where is that part? You can add tap to pay on your Shopify app. And you need to actually update the app. You go to your manage payment settings, and then you have to set it up. Okay. And I wish I had more time so I could do that showcasing, but it's already 5 o'clock. You can have one discount for multiple savings. You can segment even more fine-tuned. Segmenting is huge. So when you're doing marketing and you want to make sure like certain people that have bounced their emails or something, you don't want to add them and include them into your emails, because what's going to happen is you're going to get into like a bad list. Like no one's going to your emails aren't going to be reached. You can actually cancel your emails midway. Like let's say you hit send and you're like, oh snap, I forgot something. You can cancel it, which is really cool. The Collab app now has a mobile feature, and there you can measure multi-channel marketing with campaigns. Their analytics have gotten a lot better as well. Shop app now can be branded even more so that you can sync your online products pages to look the same in Shop app. There's also some more B2B features. Shipping, now you can print the pick list and by products, and there's more features there. These are more operations, shipping and operation updates. And then developer, that's a little more, this is what I was talking about. You can add tap to pay to your mobile Shopify app. And you got to go to your payments, settings, payments, manage payments, and then there's a section to actually set it up. So these are just a few that we kind of just talked about of 150 updates that they did. So honestly, it's so exciting. It's so exciting because they do these updates about twice a year, and it always gets better. So now let's just pause for a moment and then take this in, because look at what we just did, right? We mapped out our entire homepage from inside out. So we didn't guess, we didn't cause any chaos. We started with our products. We chose the core products. We grouped them into clear themed collections, and then we sketched out a simple homepage layout. And we didn't need a developer. We didn't need to learn how to code. We just needed some clarity, right? And that's what clarity feels like. You know exactly what you're going to do, and it's intentional. You know why you're doing it. And honestly, it's simple, empowering, and strategic. So now imagine what would happen if you had 5 more days like this. But let's be real for a second, because this right here is where most people are going to stop. They get a pretty layout, a theme that looks decent, and maybe they tweak a color or add another product row, but that's it. They never build the flow. They never gain the confidence, and then their store never really converts like it could. And it's not because they're lazy or unmotivated, honestly. It's because they didn't have a system to keep them going. And they didn't have structure. They didn't have the clarity, but that's not going to be you, because you've already done the most. You've already done what most won't. You've mapped out your store from the inside out using the the sheet. And actually, let me share it again, because I think some of you all came in after. Let me share this. So now I'm going to show you how to keep that clarity going so that you can finish what you started and build a homepage that actually drives with results. So what if today wasn't the end, but the beginning of clarity? What if you had 5 days like this? 5 days where we break down step by step and build your store with intention, with flow and support. So imagine this. Every page of your store flows like your homepage, not just random, but purposefully. Your product listings do not do the selling for you, because your messaging is aligned and clear. And then you finally have traffic strategies that actually don't just get views, but they convert. And that constant tech overwhelm is going to be gone, replaced with confidence and momentum. And that's what the 5-day Shopify challenge is all about. You're not just going to build a better homepage, you're building a store you're actually building the store that you were meant to launch from the start. So here's how we turn clarity into momentum, and then the momentum into sales. During the 5-day Shopify challenge, you won't just be watching and wishing. You'll actually be building one smart section of your store each day. And we're going to be using the Pixel to Profits framework. So we're going to break this down. Day 1, we're going to focus on Pixel launch. And this is where you'll define your brand voice, your visuals, your ideal customers. So your store doesn't just exist, it actually connects. Day 2, we're going to focus on product power-ups, and we'll organize your offers. We're going to polish your product messaging and package it with intention and collections that actually make sense to sell. Day 3, we're going to focus on convention core, and this is where we're going to set up your automations, your homepage sections, your email flows, and these are going to be email flows that actually drive revenue. They're not just going to be there out there with guesswork. Day 4 is going to be your traffic engine day. We're going to build visibility and content rhythm with marketing that actually fits your style, and not just random posting or paid ads that you hate. We all hate those. Day 5 is going to be focused on optimization loops. So we'll cover how to track, tweak, and grow with confidence using real data to guide your next steps, just like we did with Bearcat Body. So you don't have to build everything at once. You just need the right roadmap, and we give it to you one smart step at a time. So let's be real. If you've made it this far, then you already know this is a little different. But just to be sure, let's talk about who this is really for. And you'll love the 5-day Shopify challenge if you've been stuck in that endless loop of theme shopping or hoping that the next one will finally just hit and work. But it never does because the theme was never the problem, right? It was the structure. Or if you're looking if if you're not looking for another tutorial, you want clarity and the kind that makes you actually log in and actually know what to do next. And most of all, you're ready to build a store that reflects your real brand, not just copy paste version of someone else's. Because this challenge is not just about hacks. It's about building your store the smart way, one decision, one day, with one win at a time. And in these 5 days, you're going to exactly walk away with learning about how to build your store, um, and how to do it right from the beginning. So by the end of these 5 days, you're going to have a clear brand voice and visual identity. So your store actually feels like you and instantly connects with your ideal customer. It's going to be organized, conversion ready products. So no more scattered listings or pricing confusion. And you'll have collections that actually guide the sale. You're going to have email flows and a homepage that sells, not just looks good. So we're designing for action, not only aesthetics, right? And also a simple custom traffic plan so you stop posting aimlessly and start showing up where your buyers actually are. And lastly, tools to track, tweak, and grow, because once your store is live, we teach you how to optimize and not just hope. Like I said earlier, it's not just building it and then just crossing your fingers. You got to continuously look at the data and see what works, what doesn't, what you got to tweak, what you got to change, and what you got to keep. So in just 5 days, you'll go from figuring it out to actually having a store that actually is built to grow. So the simple question here is, are you ready to build the store you actually want? The kind that's not just beautiful, but actually strategic. And the kind that actually sells while you sleep because it was built the right way from the start. So if that's you, this is your next step. You want to join us for the 5-day Shopify challenge. And it's going to run Monday, July 7th through July 11th. And I'm going to add the link also in the chat for those who are on the phone and cannot scan this. And we're going to meet live from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's going to be via Zoom, just like this webinar today. And each day, you're going to build on one smart section of your store with me. And I'm going to be guiding you step by step. So again, you can scan this QR code or click the link in the chat. And if you join by tonight, 11:59 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, you'll get to unlock a discount at the checkout. And this is your chance to lock in clarity and save while the spots are still here, because we all love a discount. So you've already done what most won't. You got clear, you took action. So now we want to finish what we started together. So right now what I'm going to do is I'm going to open it up for questions. And we can go from there.
Just wanted to say hi, Ms. Vero. It's Gavin. I had
Hold on, I
football
think my
practice.
speaker went out again. I think you were speaking.
All right.
Yes.
Hello,
Okay.
can you hear me? Can you hear me?
There you go. Hey,
Yeah,
Gavin.
just wanted to say hi. How you doing? It's good to see you. I came back from football practice. I heavily apologize for being late, but I took my notebook out and wrote down as much information as I can because I'm working with the clothing brand and all that. So I am glad that I'm able to get in on this. I didn't necessarily have a question, but actually I do have a question. The question is, you said it was a 5-day program, right?
5-day challenge, correct.
And this program would teach me how to properly manage my website, and like not just design, let alone, but how to like properly manage it. Because once I get the orders in, because people want to order, I just have to create the website and just be ready to ship the stuff out. And I just want to make sure I'm getting my foot in the right direction.
Yes, and it's not necessarily just building it. It's also how are you going to maintain it? How are you going to continue to drive traffic? Because a lot of times we build the stores and we just kind of cross our fingers and wish and hope things work, and we just tell our friends and family, and that only has like so much. It only goes so far, and I've been there. And that's what honestly makes me stand out is I started as a merchant, and I know exactly what you're going through. And I made all those mistakes already. So this is an opportunity for you to not have to make the same mistakes I made.
Thank you, Ms. Vera. I really do appreciate it. And I'm looking forward to doing this program. For the people out there, please, I'm going to do it. Everybody else do it. We're in this together. We are all entrepreneurs. Thank you, Ms. Vera. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
You're
100 times thank you.
welcome.
Just giving you your
I love
flowers.
seeing
Thank
the
you.
youth here. Yes.
Thank you. Thank y'all.
All right. Any other questions? All right.
Can I ask you a direct question?
Absolutely.
So we met last week for our one-on-one, and I made a lot of changes that you told me to go in and make. Like I took that dark shaded thing off of there, and I redid some of the font and took some of the text off. The one thing I haven't figured out is organizing the pages, so I probably need to be in this class. But I was trying to fix something really quickly. You wanted me to move the shop now button, and I just cannot figure that out.
Okay. Okay. You want to share your screen?
Um, well, I'm on Zoom on my phone, but I'm on
You
here
are?
on my
Okay, let's do
computer.
this.
I'm where the button thing is, but
Let's
I just don't know
do-
how to move it.
All right, no worries. Let's go back to Crema. Let's add that photo that I downloaded.
Uh-huh.
Got to do that. Time got the best of me. So I'm going to add the image so then we can play around with how we... All right, let me move this stuff here so I can see what's happening. So right now, the height is on large, so it's not even really capturing the whole image. So I'm going to move it to adapt.
Uh-huh.
And then see how it says here, position?
Where are you at? Are you at the button feature, or are you still on the main
I'm
page?
on the image banner. I'm sorry.
Okay,
Click
home.
on
I
the
have
image
a
banner.
announcement banner, image banner. Okay.
So yeah, it's right under that
Uh-huh.
where template starts.
And so,
And down content
I see
is a
content.
position. You can move that to the middle center and it moves the content to the middle. In this scenario, I think I want it to be more middle left. So then it's over here. Then
Okay.
the alignment is still in the center. So I can move that to the left, and now I moved everything to the left.
It didn't move my button.
What did you
Oh,
choose?
so do I need to move the alignment too? I moved the position to middle left.
Okay. And then click the alignment to left.
Alignment to left too. I'm getting nothing.
I would have to see what's happening.
Yeah, because I'm getting nothing. It's just those two movements, right?
Yeah.
I'm in content, position, and alignment.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've done that, and the button's just not moving. It's just staying in the center.
You may want to just maybe try to like save, get out, and get back in again. Sometimes computers and things get stuck.
Okay.
But that's where you find where to
To move
put the
that.
where to move it. So it could be middle left, middle right, and then you move it
Okay.
right. So that's literally where.
So the content is where you fix where the button is.
Correct.
That text. Okay. I'll keep
Correct.
playing with it.
What theme are you using?
Dawn.
Dawn? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Same thing.
Okay. If it keeps giving you that issue, maybe what we can do is if you could set up another strategy call, and then
Mm-hmm.
maybe when you're on your computer so you can share, and then I could see.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're very welcome, but that's where you move it.
Okay. I was in the button section thinking that I would move it over there, but that didn't
Yeah,
give
you
me any
click on the
options.
image banner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
You're
I'll save it and
welcome.
see what happens.
Let me know.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Any other questions?
Yeah, I have a question.
Yes.
Hi everybody. Um, so with the banner picture, because what my problem is with a lot of my pictures on my website,
Mhm.
I don't know what happened. I think I uploaded the update and it just blew everything and made everything blurry and this and that. Like with the banner picture, I was told this probably years ago. Let me get it. That it should be like a certain size, pixel wise.
Mhm.
Oh, here it is. I'm sorry, guys. Hold on one second. Like the collection banners, that's different, but the slider, that's what I was I'm calling the banner. The slider should be 1280 by 460. Is that correct?
That's a good size too.
That's a good size too. Okay, because I
Yeah.
always have a problem when I upload either the picture's too forward or too back, and I have to play around with my pictures because they really don't look too nice. Um,
You could try 1440 by 600.
okay,
But the what was it, 480 like height? That's not bad either.
1280. Yeah, 1280 by 460.
Or 60?
All
Yeah, because
right.
the
Yeah,
goal is you don't want it to be too long. Because when someone is on mobile, for example, you don't want
right.
it to take the whole,
Page
what they
up,
call above
right?
the fold. Yeah, you want
Oh,
to be able
okay.
for them to be able to see more than the banner. I normally do adapt to image as far as the height, unless I'm playing around with an animation. Sometimes I do so for example, let me show you all what I mean. It's easier to show. So for example, this brand, it's just different. We have a banner down here with the headband that I have an animation, and you see how it just stays still? So for
Yes.
that, the adapt to image doesn't necessarily work with that, but those are the kind of tricks and animation designs that you can create using um, these animation options here. And that one was the fixed background position. So if I were to do
Oh,
that,
okay.
for example, see how it changed the size?
Yes.
So for that, then maybe I want to do, let's see, large, but that's too long. That's too heavy. So you want to play around with all the options to see what would work best. Since you have candles, though, you definitely want to showcase maybe multiple candles, or if it's just
Right.
one, right? Like you can really play around with AI also, and to generate an actual image using your candle by adding it inside ChatGPT as well.
Yeah, I'm sorry guys, I'm in New York and I'm like tired. I'm burnt out from today. I use an app actually, Photo Room. And then I take the pictures and because I use that for social media too. But
Okay.
sometimes those pictures look a little fake, so I have to play around with different backgrounds and because it just makes it look like it's floating in off a table,
Right. Yeah.
So you have to be very careful with that. I love the AI with the pictures, but I have to be careful because then, like I said, that some of them look like the what do you call it? Like the candles are floating off the
Yeah, like
table.
you
They
just
don't, it
paste it
doesn't,
in the middle. Yeah.
right,
Honestly,
right.
yeah,
So,
try out ChatGPT and see what it does because it's gotten a lot better with the image creating. And I think
okay.
yesterday Gemini also did an update and they do images now too
Oh,
and
okay.
video. So they're all competing. It's like the AI wars out there.
Yeah, I know. Um, yeah, now one other question too, because like our discussion the other day, if I start playing around with, doing the AI with the homepage and I save it and I don't like it and I change it, like all the coding comes out if every time I do a change, right? On the
You could
back
delete
end.
it. You could
Well,
delete
if
it.
I delete it, then the code gets deleted on the back end of Shopify, right? Like it just doesn't stay there. Like every time you delete something, that code comes out, correct?
Yeah, if you delete
Yeah.
it, the code goes away. So we had created the section here. There's a little eye that you can just hide it if you don't want to delete.
Okay.
And
No,
it
I
just
know
stays.
about that. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
And but this was the code that we generated ourselves.
right, but
Yeah.
okay, yeah. But that's like I can't even think. Um, so even like right, like if I go after this call into my Dawn and I do what you were doing and I change everything, I don't have to do anything else. That's it. It just everything updates by itself and that's it, right? I don't have to like save the theme or make a
Yeah,
copy of it. Do you understand what I'm saying?
yeah, you
Maybe I'm
still
not.
want to save. You'll still have to save it here, and it'll still be just whatever theme you're working on. It's
Okay.
not going to affect other themes. Um, and you also want to make sure that it doesn't like it created this section, but then we still had to go in and add an image, and then you could still go in and customize the button colors and things like that. So you want to make sure that things are aligned with your brand colors and things like that as well.
Okay. Yeah, I
So
just,
there's some
you just really,
tweaking.
yeah, that's what it is. It's a matter of just, playing around with it and tweaking it. All
Right,
right.
right,
Okay,
right.
perfect.
It's
Thank
just
you.
coding it for you, which is like you used to have to hire a developer before to that codes to be able to add certain sections that you wanted on there, like the benefits ones that we did on the bottom.
Right.
Right. So it's
Yeah.
awesome. Yeah.
All right, perfect. Thank you so much. Thank you for
You're
this call
welcome.
too. I
You're very
appreciate it.
welcome. You're very welcome. Any other questions? Okay, so it moved. Awesome. Good to know. Good to
Hey, so I have a question. Can you hear me?
Yes.
I have a lot going on in my background, but my hands are not clean, so I can't
Oh,
like
you're
stop.
good.
Either way, um, uh, I had a question in regards because I want to get started with my Shopify store. However, I am creating products, and so
Okay.
like my question is because I also heard you talk about like drop shipping and then like
Mhm.
all that great stuff. So like if I was creating a website, a Shopify store for let's say a beauty space, would it is it if you would recommend that I go ahead and have those products that I wanted to add on ready to go too before I rock and roll with my store? Honey, now you got to come and take all the money.
The only thing that you could do is you can leave a store on like under construction and start collecting emails.
Uh-huh.
But you definitely want to have something already to be able to showcase. If you don't have all like all your inventory, for lack of better words, and all those things, you can always do the pre-order uh play where you
Okay.
do pre-orders, you start collecting the money, and then that may fund more, ingredients, or it may fund the actual merch or whatever it is as well.
Okay, so this is separate from when people have like e-commerce stores that and they don't have any type of skill set or anything, they're just selling products.
No, Shopify is an e-commerce platform. Absolutely. It's
For
the number
sure.
one e-commerce platform. And it's actually the one to use because it's
Okay.
built with everything that you need to sell online. Your payment gateways, all the apps to help you optimize your store, like for the pop-ups or the reviews, to automate everything. It's all in one. So Shopify
Okay.
is definitely the way to go. Um, and if you want to do drop shipping, there's apps that connect to the Shopify store as well, so that it could all be a seamless experience for the browsers.
Okay, so someone starting from scratch because you are the grandmaster. Um, Based off of your prompts, would I be able to go through it, or do you like how much time do you feel like it would take to set up the store? I'm sorry, you
No
said
worries.
that.
That's what this challenge is honestly about. You'll be able to
Okay.
have a store in 5 days to sell your merch or your products.
Okay, okay. Cool, got you. Um, all right, I'm just trying to figure out because I have my hands in so many things. So I was trying to figure out if I should have finished, a couple of my digital products before I go forth with paying for the Spotify store and getting it set up. So I was just
Right.
curious about that.
Right. And the cool thing is when I send out the replay on the emails, I'm gonna also have a list of the apps that I like to use.
Uh-huh.
And for digital products, there's apps that actually will basically email them the digital file, whatever it is, after
Uh-huh.
they purchase. So you don't have to do anything but collect the money.
Okay, awesome. Just as long as I got my settings right, like you said
Right,
earlier
we have it
together.
uploaded into that app, and that app knows that it's connected to a product. So whenever someone purchases that product, it knows to send the files.
Okay, and do we set up a separate like one-on-one with you if we wanted you to like coach us, or like we pay a fee for you to do it?
Yes, we do done for you, and I'll put that link in the chat right now.
Okie dokie. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
Hey, Vero, I have a question too. Um, One, for the 5 day seminar that you referenced in this, will it be recorded in case some of us miss a day or
Yes,
miss the first, hours? Okay,
yes.
got it. And
It'll
then,
have it'll have recordings, replays, and I also will have a section in my community just for us in the challenge, so that we can interact with one another as well.
okay, and then thank you. And then I have a second question.
Mhm.
I'm in another group that you're in, and you mentioned that Spotify can be for services too. So will this seminar help in the event that a person wanted to, like launch a Shopify for their services as well?
Absolutely, because the core foundation is still going to be the same.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it'll just be geared towards services instead of products, but we're still using the product pages for these services. That's what I use. I use Shopify myself. So, yeah, absolutely, yes. And that makes me really excited because I love breaking the myth that Shopify is only for products. You can also absolutely use it for digital products and services as well. So that's exciting.
Okay, thank you.
You're very welcome. All right. Well, definitely thank you all for coming. I really appreciate you all. And I was a little bit all over today because of these new updates. They had me up last night, let me tell you. And I get up early. So for us who are in the morning meetup, it's 4 a.m. when I get up here. So I'm definitely grateful for every single one of you for sticking it through, and hopefully you got something out of this. I'll also add the Google Doc in case you didn't get a chance to copy it, or you lose it or something. I'll send the apps that I like to use and the replay. And again, if you all sign up by tonight, it's 11:59 Pacific, is 2:59 a.m. Eastern for those of you in Eastern. You'll get a discount at the checkout. It expires automatically. That's already scheduled, so take advantage of that. And I'm really looking forward to seeing you all in the challenge. It's gonna be great. We're gonna have daily, I'm gonna make more than just the daily live sessions. You're gonna get resources. You're gonna get templates, tips, all kinds of things, and then I'm gonna be there with you along the way so that you can actually feel confident that you're going to build a Shopify store. And for those who actually do VIP, you'll also get an audit at the end of the challenge where I'll be auditing your store. And that alone, I charge, I charge thousands, like over $1,000. So it's really worth it. And I just want to bring the value and introduce the Pixel to Profits framework to as many people as possible. So thank you everybody for showing up, and have a wonderful evening and rest of your weekend.
Thank you so much.
Bye.